Hey YouTube, twofinger here with an update on my MP3 project. This is a tube amp MP3 that the total cost on it, well, I paid $6.99 for the tube amp. I replaced some capacitors, which cost $2, and then the MP3 unit was $2.99. All of the additional, like the wire, everything else is recycled. So the total cost, of course, we could argue about that all day, but the point of it is this is an affordable unit that I slapped together out of reuse, recycle type of an idea. So the tube amp came from an old record player. I have the model number, actually the schematic. Yeah, go ahead and pan down, you take a look at the unit here. I've got it. The schematic is underneath the unit. It is a Philco model K1422, code 121. It's a K142. It's I think that's the amplifier number. The tubes are 50 EH5 tubes, and they're 1.5 watt each tube. So it's a 3 watt stereo amp, or 2 by 1.5, and I would probably guess to say it's closer to 1 amp, 1 watt a piece, so it's probably like a 2 watt amp. But like here, that's max volume. But as you can see, it's loud enough for, like, I would say bedroom listening. Even would probably bother my neighbors if I had this cranked up. The only really other thing that I would say is lacking at this point, I would like to add a preamp in between the head unit, or the MP3 unit, and the tube amp, because it's just low output. The MP3 unit I paid $2.99 for this unit. I'm guessing they're not all built equal. So if you're going to be putting your own MP3 unit together and you're going to try to optimize the volume, you might want to think about building a little preamp, ordering a preamp or an EQ circuit off of eBay. They have EQs that run off of dual AC, and single DC as well. For around $10 you can find those. Usually they're 2-band, or just build yourself a little preamp, because I think that it's just slightly low output. Now, if what you're building has enough power in it, like in my case, it's really borderline. I mean, am I going to want my, am I going to need it any louder than that? Well, probably not, but I would like to tailor it for a little more bass. So I'm kind of nitpicking here. I'm just saying, like, let's say if you were going to build one of these units, and the amplifier unit that you had, in my case, I have a 3 watt maximum, probably closer to a 2. So, and I swear, if you say, like, it's a 50 watt amp, and if you properly do the math, it would only be 35 or 45, you will get called out in the comment section. And whenever I speak, I'm speaking from what it says on the package, RMS, or even peak. I try not to use peak watts. We'll say RMS is what I'm saying. And I'm talking package rating. And I realize that that's not accurate. But in order to try to not really make the videos too long, so here I go, making the video too long. But like I said, if you were working on a project and you had a 50 or 100 watt amp, you wouldn't really have to concern yourself with a preamp. In my case, my amp is kind of weak, so it isn't perfect. And the reason it isn't perfect is because my head unit that I bought is low output. Now I'll go ahead and I'm going to flip this around so you can see the head unit. It's kind of hard to see. It's so narrow, and this plate covers the top of it. So it has a TF or a micro SD card slot. There's a USB card slot. If you had a USB thumb drive with your MP3s on it, you could plug it in there. It has an auxiliary input. This one does not have the Bluetooth. That's why it was $2.99 instead of like $5. The Bluetooth ones are just a little bit more. But I have a Bluetooth one on order. I've got 2 more of these on order. I've got the fancy $13 one that does it all. And then I've got the more affordable $5 unit coming. So I'm going to throw one into a project case similar to this. I love these things. Old computer switch box. I'm going to put one in one of those. The other is going to go directly into a pair of bookshelf speakers. And then there will be a 18650 lithium ion battery holder that holds 4 with Velcro, and that's going to sit on the back of the bookshelf speaker, and those power wires will go inside of it. There'll be a little PAM 8610 or whatever it is, 10 by 10 watt class D, I think it might be, amp board inside of the one speaker, and then the MP3 unit will be mounted on the side of the bookshelf with a Velcroed remote on the top. And then daisy chaining the speakers together using the existing speaker connections with just a single cable, connecting the master speaker that has the MP3 and the battery pack and the amp unit inside of all that. You will run the power for the left-hand speaker will come out of the existing speaker jacks, and just connect a single cable. So the idea with that is I could take that set of bookshelf speakers anywhere. I'm going to put a couple handles on there. We picked up some handles, which I don't have, they're in a bag, but you'll be able to, like, this is almost like a boom box type of an idea, but it's just the speakers. You'll be able to just simply, with one wire connecting those 2 speakers, no power supply, it's runoff rechargeable lithium ions. Now the only thing I'm concerned about that, I may have to use a DC buck, because I found in experimenting with this stuff that you get unwanted noise if you run both the amplifier and the MP3 unit off of the same battery. Now that may be because I didn't have any filtering, so I have to play around with that. But this is my music. If you like it, take a look at on this channel. It's called Minor Technical Difficulties. This is the album we're listening to right now. So yeah, would I recommend these MP3 units for $5 to $3? Like I said, if you don't need Bluetooth, you can get this particular unit, which comes with this remote, for $2.99. This particular unit runs off of 5 volts DC. They have a large assortment of these types of units that are all a little different available. The only danger that you have is you might find some that play mono, summed mono. I read that some of the older ones, they've got some junkers on the market, so you know, if you run into that, well, buyer beware. But I think most of the newer ones, like if you get the ones with the Bluetooth, or read the comments. I mean, I really looked around, and I found some comments. Some people mentioned that, but everything that I've received so far has been stereo, and I played with two of these so far. Now, again, USB for a thumb drive, then the TF or micro SD. That's what we're listening to right now. A little TF, and you put that, the way that card sits is upside down. You got to be careful. It's kind of fiddly to get that in there properly, and then I used a small knife to be able to fully depress it in. But yeah, it was a real no-nonsense install. I just used a hacksaw and chopped the square cube out of the bottom of the main support that I mounted this tube amp on, and then screwed it in together. It came with the cables, which was wonderful. One of the other MP3s that I had bought didn't come with the cables, and it received a dud unit, and they were like joshing me around like, how about a $3 refund on a $13 blown unit you sent me that had no cables? I was like, how about no? So anyway, really the only thing that I had to do is replace the filter capacitors in the tube amp. I rehoused the tube amp. It came out of an old record player. And if you're interested in doing that, the reason I replaced those capacitors was because it was humming pretty loudly in between music, or when the music was playing, you could hear the hum. And I have a video on replacing those. So this is a video in the ongoing diary of this life of this tube amp, which now it's pretty much complete. I don't think I will do a preamp on it. I mean, it is what it is. And if I wanted to put that preamp on there, honestly, I would try to get a 3-band stereo EQ is what I would try to find, or at least a 2-band, and that would really make it quite a bit louder. But it is what it is, like I said, and I'm going to be building my own standalone Mp3 if I want volume that I can plug into whatever amp, because I've got a collection of amps here. And then I have those bookshelf speakers that probably will be quite a bit significantly louder, because that is a 20-watt amp. So what do you think? Pretty cool, cheap MP3 players. Mind you, you have to provide your own powering, whereas like if you were going to buy an iPod, it comes with a lithium-ion battery, and in this case, you're buying just the unit. So it's a bare bones DIYer type of thing, and you also don't get any storage. You have to provide your own, in this case, TF or a micro SD card. But to me, I would rather have this idea where I can pick and choose my own power supply. Where if I buy a standalone MP3, it's quite a bit more money. When that battery eventually does die, I'm screwed, and then I've got all my music locked in this thing. So this idea of having removable storage and you supply your own power is perfect for a person like me. And at the price of $3, which is lunch at Taco Bell, if you go for a water agua, por favor, senor, you simply can't beat it. So very, very cool project. I mean, that is really cool, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, I think the music helps a lot. I cut this power switch in with this nice aluminum or metal plate that we got from Goodwill. And the back plate is recycled from the original phonograph. This is the 5-volt power supply that we bought from Goodwill for 99 cents that powers the MP3. Nice and loud. And you can see here different EQ curves. And then I'm using the remote to turn the volume down. So I'm basically finished with this at this point. I think maybe I'll end up putting the preamp in there. Probably not. But I just was so excited that it came together as neatly as it did for such a bottom line low price that I wanted to share this one with you. So what do you guys think of my tube MP3 for Taco Bell lunch money project? Pretty cool, huh? Thanks for joining me. I'm Petey Twofinger. Peace.